los ángeles esperará. Es el fuego que yo.
What is the deal, beautiful people? My name is Ramon. This is Lifestyles Defined. Short disclaimer, this video will be posted on two of our channels, on our technology channel and our photography channel. So if you don't follow one of the other, the links are in the description below. Today's topic, and why you'll see why it's on both channels, is the Light camera phone coming from a company called Light. Not many of you may have known this company for any particular reason, but I'm sure you probably saw the prototype camera, which has now come to fruition, and it didn't really make much waves. So the Light L16 camera, I guess about a year ago, it hit the market, and this thing had, wait, let me check my notes because it was an absurd amount. It had 16 lenses. And excuse me, this camera was kind of supposed to be a threat to DSLRs or mirrorless cameras, or the modern cameras, so to speak. And a lot of the technology behind it, I think, is dope. So when you essentially hit the button, the camera evaluates the scene, and at any given time, up to 10 or so of the 16 cameras fire off to evaluate a shot, stitch everything together, and output an image. The issue here was the software was a little clunky. It wasn't the best to be managed on the camera itself. It didn't really have good options to get the to enhance the experience. The UI was a little clunky, and then you had to use this special software from the company that would then, albeit, do some dope things, like you can manipulate depth of field after the fact, or you can do your sharpening there. It was pretty dope, but in real world practice, as Michael Fisher would put it, whose B-roll you're looking at right now, it wasn't the best execution. So it fell short in not only image quality, but it fell short in general usability. But that's okay. It was a round one device, a year one device. It was a first swing at bat. Now these guys are coming back, not with a camera, but with a camera phone. And I kind of sat up in my seat. So this camera phone is said to have 9 lenses. So down from 16, 9 I think is okay. I mean, anything past 2 is kind of wild. We've seen some Oppo devices with 3 cameras on there. So yeah, these guys are above and beyond still. So 9 cameras, and they're saying, or they're looking for, or trying to hit a goal of 64 megapixel images. Kind of crazy. This harkens back to, I remember when Microsoft first spoke about the Nokia, the Lumia 2010, and you were like, what? Nowhere we're gonna actually get a camera with 42 megapixels. And it came out and it was dope and it worked. So I'm hoping these guys can actually nail the mile market here. There are some issues that I kind of am worried about. First off, what processor is this thing gonna have? Because looking at the standalone camera and watching a few reviews of the UI and just how it's generally used, that thing was very clunky. And now, if you're gonna put a smartphone on top of that, I think it has to have flagship specs in order to really keep up and offer not only a good experience on the camera side, but also a good experience on the usability side when it comes to being just a regular Android smartphone. And I'm thinking it has to have the latest Snapdragon loadout. If this thing ships with any of that mid-tier flagship madness, it's an automatic fail. And I would hate to see them go down that route because it's such a dope thing to have. And I would hate to see it crippled by the Android mid-spec world. As it is, phones that don't really, or are not really as ambitious as this phone, you look at something like the BlackBerry Key 1, and the Key 2 is still pending that jury. Mid-range Android phones are just terrible. They don't age well, they don't perform well, and I feel like that market just needs to go away. Maybe I'm the only one that feels that way, but whatever. Then we come down to the video part of it. We don't know much. They haven't revealed much, but how does this phone with these 9 lenses push the narrative forward when it comes to videos on a smartphone? Maybe it can do it in the picture world, and maybe we can all come to a consensus that it's overkill, but it's super dope. Okay, fine, but what about video? You know, today our phones can do 4K recording, some 4K at 60. We've got you got the Galaxy out there, and even, well, I should say you've got the Sony phones who've been doing it first, and now the Galaxy with the 900 something frame per second slow motion. How does this camera really push that narrative forward? All those lenses, how can it be done? And again, it needs decent hardware. It needs cutting edge hardware to really push it and do what LG's done. And can we get the high frame stuff? Can we get the S-Log stuff out there for the video grading? All of that I'm very anxious to see, or excited, I should say, to see. But I like where this is going. This to me is what makes Android. It's got all these weird things out there, but here it is now. Someone's coming with a camera with 9 lenses. The most interesting part of the conversation to me is, how do you as a consumer feel about this? If you look at the landscape of smartphones today, we are conditioned to upgrade our smartphones for very few reasons. And the number one reason remains the camera, right? So in the recent years, I'd give it a lifespan of about 5 or so years. You used to upgrade your phone every year because the new one had a killer design. Well, Samsung, Google, OnePlus, Apple, they sort of toned down their designs, right? They streamlined them. So you're probably going to get hit with the same design language on a phone 3 years in a row. So it's not a design you upgraded for. Then you look at the processor specs, the Snapdragon, the new GPU, more RAM. These things never really equal better performance. Your Snapchat's still your Snapchat, your Instagram is still your Instagram, and your phone still only lasts 6 hours a day. So it's not really, you're not really upgrading for specs. So from my perspective, consumers have been conditioned to chase after new camera technology, which is why you see things like they're putting dual cameras on the back to get this fake depth of field effect. And I don't quite like it. And I like how Google just sort of stuck to one camera and they produced the effects. Say, guys, you don't need 2 cameras for this. Now you've got Samsung out here with the Galaxy S9 with variable aperture lenses. And then it's like, what? You still... The pictures aren't any better or any worse. So again, if you're faced with something that is truly, if the camera is truly the one thing that pushes you to upgrade your camera, it's the most attractive feature to upgrade your phone, would 9 lenses do it for you? I don't know. Hit the comment section. Let me know. Like the video if you like it. Here's 2 other videos just like it that you might enjoy. And in the middle is that subscribe button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Rock out with your boy. My name is Ramon, and I'm out of here. Peace.